الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. My dear respected brothers, elders, listeners, once again you've joined us for the Q&A. We'll start with this week's questions. Question number 1. When reciting in Salah, do we have to move our lips or whisper, or can we read surahs in our mind? So when we're reading in our Salah, when we are reading alone, if we read in our mind, there's no qiraat, the namaz will not be accepted, it will not be done. If you read qiraat in your mind, you must read so that you can hear it yourself. The lips move. And we know that when you actually whisper, then you will see part of your beard will move also. There's some movement. So to this extent, what you can hear is a must. If someone reads in their mind, they've not read anything, the namaz will not be done. Qiraat will not be done. And qira'ah is farz in namaz. So it's important that we understand this. If we're just standing and we can read the whole entire Quran in our mind, but you're not reciting anything. So the prayer will be invalid and it will not be done. Question number 2. What are the masjid etiquettes? As many people don't follow them, such as yawning loudly, coming in with cigarette smells, mobile phones ringing during salah. Masjid is a place which is so great and special that Allah's given it the name Baytullah, the house of Allah. Allah is not in need of a house. Given the masjid has been given such respect that is called the house of Allah. And when a Muslim comes to the masjid, then he's the guest of Allah. And masjid is such a great and honored and respectful place. It's the best place on the earth. As Muslims, we need to understand when we come into the masjid, there's some etiquettes. We have to follow these etiquettes. And some masjid, I've mentioned this before, which I have seen personally myself, which is amazing and very good. In some masjid I've seen in Batley, and just a few days ago I've seen in a masjid in Bury also, where when you enter the masjid, the carpet will be the same, but they have a barrier. So if people want to talk, then they will go behind that barrier and then they would talk. But whoever enters the masjid is pinned up silence. People are engaged in worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, reciting Quran, or either nawafil, or dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So masjid, we have to keep the etiquettes in mind. Now this will be a whole topic itself, but I will only speak about the 3 things that have been asked. Number 1, yawning. This is an issue which I have witnessed myself. Unfortunately, from those that are not much Islamically educated, from the ones that are Islamically educated, we see this is an issue. Yawning, at-tatha'ub in Arabic is called. In the books of hadith, there's chapters on yawning and sneezing. This is how important it is. There's chapters on yawning and sneezing. If you open Mishkat, you will find a whole chapter on this. What did Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam say about when you yawn? What happens? What should you do? Some people, they yawn to let the whole town know that they are yawning. Ha, and such loud noises. At-tatha'ub min ash-shaytan. Yawning is from shaitan. That's point number 1. Number 2, when one of you yawns, what did Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam say? إِذَا تَثَاءَبَ أَحَدُكُمْ When one of you yawns, what should he do? You should stop this, not rather the mouth is open and we continuing to let the sound flow and let everyone know what we're doing. That's wrong. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us, when one of you yawns, then he should stop this with his hand. And the ulamas mention, use your left hand, block your mouth when you yawn. If you do not block your mouth when you yawn, then what will happen? It comes in hadith, shaitan will go in. And when shaitan goes in, then things are not going to look good for us. All these ideas and all these problems that come because shaitan goes in. And I remember anything that we've learned, all credit to our ustads. I remember during hadith lesson, if a student yawned in our class and did not cover with his left hand, the ustad would be fuming. And he mentioned this so many times in class that is something that's engrossed that I tell my students also. If anyone yawns and they don't cover their mouth, immediately we tell them, shaitan will go in, block with your hand. If you are standing, it is such an important point of yawning. Namaz, we should stand still. But if you yawn in the prayer, you still have to stop it with your hand. That's how important it is to stop the yawn. How would you do that? In your normal circumstance, use your left hand. If you are in prayer in qiyam, then the ulamas mention use your right hand, because there's going to be too much movement. And in namaz, with less movement as possible. So even in your prayer, if you yawn, does that mean you carry on yawning? No, you will stop it. This is how important it is to stop the yawn. There's chapters in the books of hadith on this. So the least noise as possible, without any noise, is best, if we can do this. Rather than letting everyone know that we are tired. On the other hand, sneezing is a mercy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's regarding yawning. Number 2, phones. That is another issue that we see. Ringtones, music that is being played and it's going off in the masjid. The simple thing is, rather than putting a tone on, you shouldn't just put it on vibrate. So then you don't need to worry. If you come to the masjid 5 times a day, it's very possible that you will forget to put it on silent. Very possible. You might get 2 namazes and miss 3. It's possible because we're human, we forget. Simple, just put the phone on vibrate. If you put it on vibrate, we'll still know that someone's giving us a call. If you leave it on loud and you have music on, and you're coming into the masjid, you're disrespecting the masjid, the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And some have all musical tones and it's going off loud and people are playing namaz, disrespectful in the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Simple thing, best thing to do, we are coming to the masjid and it's very possible that we can forget. We may get it right a lot of the times, but there will be a time where we may get it wrong. And we forgot. Insan, we're weak. That's why to solve this problem from the root, cancel the ringtone and just put it on vibrate. We'll know when the phone rings. I do not think that would be a problem. I personally do not have a ringtone, so I put it on vibrate. And that's enough for me at any time to know that I've got a phone call. If someone has an issue with vibrate, they can contact me, inshallah. I'll try and help them if they feel that vibrate is not enough for them to answer the call. So that is to solve the problem from the roots. If you cannot do this, you still want your phone on loud, don't use musical instruments. It's not allowed. Use a normal tone. And when you come each time to the masjid, it's your responsibility to put it on silent. If you can do this, then leave your phone on loud. If you cannot do this, go for the safer option, leave it on vibrate. Number 3, smoking. If you smoke, you're coming to the masjid, then do miswak before you come. Number 2 is use fragrance before you come. Masjid is a place which is where the angels are, disturbing other worshippers, disturbing others that are around you, and their prayer because of this smell is incorrect. And then along with that is burping. That's another issue. Ramadan is coming up. Some people during Ramadan, they like to burp. The louder the better, to let everyone know what they had in iftar. And some people actually had a message up, if you remember. Some people have had to deal with this burping issue for quite some time. And some people who are happy during COVID, they thought people are going to be wearing a mask, so they'll get a taste of their own medicine. So these are things that we have to avoid. Question number 4. For the past few years in the Islamic Center Ramadan, there are Hufaz who lead the Taraweeh Salah and shave the beards. According to Sharia, is it permissible for them to lead Salah? Namaz that is led, the Imam, his appearance should be according to Sharia. That's the beard. And also the general appearance. In the batin is between one and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because the Imam is a leader. Imam is a role model. Imam is an example. So the one that is leading the prayer, at least their appearance should be according to the Sunnah. That is a must. And even if you look all around, this is what the ulamas mention. Question number 5. If I've already sat down upon entering the masjid, can I stand up and pray salat tahiyatul masjid if I forget? It comes in hadith, فَلَا يَجْلِسْ. Do not sit until you prayed that. Now you have to look if it's makruh time, dislike time, then you leave it. But if it's not, then فَلَا يَجْلِسْ comes in hadith, do not sit until you've read this. Arabs are very particular with this, praying there, tahiyatul masjid. So if you have forgotten, sat down, then okay, stand up and pray inshallah. But if you remember, then فَلَا يَجْلِسْ, do not sit until you've prayed. Again, the same question has come about yawning. I think this brother is really concerned. He's put this question twice. If you borrowed money from someone knowing the money was earned in a haram way, but you pay it back with money you've earned in a halal way, does this make the money haram for you as well? So you borrowed money of someone and you knew their income is haram, then it would have been better that you do not borrow it from them. Borrow from someone that has halal money. Now that you have borrowed it and you have earned halal money and you're returning that money, your money now will not be haram. The money is halal. But we should be very particular with our dealings. If we look at our pious predecessors, ulamas, mashayikh, many of them, they are very particular on halal and haram. Even if someone come to their madrasa to give some money, they would ask, what do you do? What's this income? Is this income halal, what you're giving? They are very particular and strict in this matter. Is this halal income that you're giving that's going to go in the madrasa? Not rather just take it, bismillah, put it in the pocket and it goes in the madrasa. They would question, is this halal income? Is it halal source? Then we'll accept. If not, then you can take it. So being particular and strict with halal and haram is very important. We have to teach this to our children also. Al-halalu bayyinun wal-haramu bayyinun wa baynahuma mushtabihat. Halal is clear, haram is clear, and what's between that is doubtful. Imam Abu Dawood, big muhaddis, from all the thousands of hadiths, he says, if you act upon 5, it's enough for your salvation. And one is this hadith that he has brought. 5 hadiths, from all the thousands of hadiths, he said, just act upon 5. And this hadith is one of the one that he has brought. Halal, haram, doubtful. What's halal, you can do. What's haram is forbidden. What's doubtful is between them, is the gray area. Stay away. Very important part of our deen. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the ability to understand and to spread unto others. Ameen. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun ala al-mursaleen walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.